Part 2. On the last video, we talked about the background of the anonymous platforms Sedaejeon and Bamboo Forest, and asked Mr. Carlson and students' opinions on them. Sedaejeon was an anonymous platform made by the school club Hologram, but it was misused by several students, offending some individuals. Because of that misuse, the account was deactivated by school administration. However, the account named Bamboo Forest was made by an unknown student, which was basically the same Sedaejeon version 2. Bamboo Forest was reported by the school community and was blocked not even a day after when the account was made.
Will be fine if we ask you a few questions.
Yes.
First, please introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Mr. Yellen, Jordan Yellen, and I teach at the school, social studies, and I'm head of the department, social studies department. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Okay, thank you. There have been several issues due to platforms that allow people to ask questions anonymously. People have left remarks that can be regarded as hate speech or defamation. Could you please explain or elaborate the concepts of freedom of speech, anonymity, and laws about defamation in Korea?
Okay, well, I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what the laws are in Korea. I think they might be different from laws in the US. From what I understand, in the United States, you are allowed to say things that are distasteful or hateful. In fact, in the US, we're not supposed to have something called hate speech. The United States has the First Amendment, so you're allowed to express yourself, even if what you're saying is unpopular or even ugly. There are exceptions to the First Amendment in the US. For example, you cannot incite physical violence against people, and you cannot use fighting words, so meaning you can't use words that will engage you in a fight, okay? And you cannot purposely lie about someone and harm their reputation. That's called defamation. So there are restrictions on what you can say, even though this first speech. That being said, I know the United States is kind of unique in this situation. Most other democracies don't have a First Amendment guarantee of free speech. And I think in Korea there's even less free speech than the United States. So Korea may have actual hate speech, where you're not allowed to say ugly or hurtful, or what's considered hurtful, or words that seem to be attacking a person's character. I'm not a lawyer in Korea, and I don't exactly know the law, but I think you cannot legally attack someone online. I think there are protections against saying hateful things about somebody. So yeah, so from what I understand, in the West in general, but particularly in the US, we don't have hate speech, although there are consequences to saying things that are hateful or ugly. For example, if you say insulting things about someone's race or gender or sexual orientation, you may lose your job, you may lose your friends, you may lose your social media account, but legally you are protected from saying those things, although there are social consequences. The consequences I just mentioned. Your life could be ruined, but you cannot be prosecuted for saying hateful or ugly things about a person or a group. I think in Korea it's much stricter. You could be prosecuted for insulting someone individually, and I think there's a much stricter limit on what you can get away with saying, both in the real world, mouth to mouth, person to person, and also online. So I'm not sure if what I said makes sense, but the United States has much stronger protections against so-called hate speech. There actually is no constitutional hate speech. You have a right to express your opinion, even if it's not nice. But in places like Korea, even though there's democracy, much less protection of when you're saying things that are insulting or that seem harmful from the outside.
Could you give your thoughts about issues about these anonymous platforms?
Oh, anonymity. Okay. Yeah, anonymity that's an interesting concept, and it's especially interesting on the internet, because the internet was a platform that gave many people a voice. In real life, many people without a lot of money and without a lot of power and without a lot of status in life, they found some freedom on the internet. They could create an anonymous account and they could give their opinions about all these different matters. And even if what they said was unpopular, or even what some might consider harmful or divisive or ugly, they could get away with saying it, and it gave them a sense of some freedom, that they could get away with something and not be punished for it. Even though they weren't wealthy, they weren't celebrities, they weren't politicians, they had a low status, they could go online, freely express themselves, whether it was considered harmful or hateful speech, and they could not legally be punished or found out. So it was kind of refreshing and liberating for many millions of people who are in that position. On the other hand, there's been an issue on social media with people creating anonymous accounts and then feeling totally liberated and free to say quite hurtful or harmful, insulting things about other people's or groups of people. And so there's a part of society that believes that anonymity should not be used for that kind of purpose, right? That there's a balance between freedom of expression and not facing not facing political or legal social consequence for being able to express yourself. On the other hand, people take advantage of that liberal way of speaking, that freedom of speaking without punishment, to be overly ugly in their speech or overly harmful and decisive. So there's a balance that has to be struck between allowing anonymity and also not allowing people who are anonymous to say whatever they want and however they want. So that is the social and legal question. What should be allowed under the guise of anonymity? Because let's say you're not anonymous, using your real name, and if you were to say something insulting about someone's race, or someone's gender, or someone's religion, someone's sexual orientation, or sexual identity, gender identity, using your real name, you could face an actual consequence. And many people would believe, well, you put your name out there, so you should face it. And that is the way it is. You say something, and then you face the consequence. But if you don't use your name, and if you are hiding behind anonymity, you can get away with saying the most harmful and ugly and insulting things about a group or a person, and never face any kind of consequence. And many people believe it's unfair. So there is a debate to be had between allowing people to say what they want to say without facing legal and political repercussion, and between those who say, well, you got to use your real name and you have to stick by your words, and you have to face the consequence for what you're saying. No more hiding behind a mask of anonymity. So there is a real debate to be had, and I don't know what the answer is.
Okay, thank you for your time, Michelle.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, first, hi, and can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Ashley Lee. I'm the grade 11 advisor.
Hi, I'm Sunny Kim. I'm a Director of Student Affairs.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Kim, the 10th grade counselor.
Hi, I'm Gloria Park. I'm a 9th grade counselor.
So we decided to invite you guys to interview today to talk about some issues you've had at school. Are you guys aware of the Citizen and Bamboo Forest issues?
Yeah.
Then, do you think it's okay for students to continue this anonymous platform for their entertainment? Or can it be a great resource to speak freely without hesitations relating to freedom of speech? Ms. Gloria, could you talk about this?
I think there are more users who use the anonymity in unhealthy ways, and I think it causes more victims. So I actually disagree with using the Citizen, continuing the Citizen.
Ms. Rebecca.
Yeah, I concur because, there's a lot of reasons, but the main consequence is not only emotional trauma and perhaps harm to students, but also, in terms of the administrative reasoning, it could lead to unnecessary lawsuit filing. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into this that can't just be defined by one way.
I strongly disagree with using the anonymity for entertainment. I personally cannot bear that type of concept because when it comes to your personal entertainment, there's so many other ways to do it. I don't agree why the tool has to be the members of our community.
I also disagree because you mentioned about the entertainment, and I totally agree with Sunny about what she said, and about the freedom of speech. I also think there's another way that you can express your feelings or what do you want to say to to the public, I think you can use your own school, own Instagram or YouTube channel or whatever you're using. It doesn't have to be related to the school community, because they are not representing the school.
Okay, thank you all for your time.
It is inevitable to misuse anonymous platforms. Anonymity itself is attempting to spread negativity, since it somewhat eliminates the sense of responsibility, because there is no need to make second thoughts before posting comments on the platform, which is the necessary process we all need to make when we talk in person. What are your thoughts on anonymous platform? Just a space of freedom of speech? Or is it a driving force that results in endless debates and controversies?